Let me call this meeting to order. The first thing we need to do is record that all members are present in minutes. And the second business item that we need to discuss is the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and we have 3 siblings from Heritage who are going to present and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight.
You guys come up here and then I'm gonna tell everyone about you and then we'll start, okay? We have the Lee siblings, as Ms. Walker said, from Heritage. Their parents are Jamie and Bobby Lee. We first have Ian, who is in kindergarten in Miss Donatelli's class. Ian is outgoing, loves company and any new adventure. He plays soccer, t-ball, basketball, and wants to play football. He likes video games, cards, board games, and gardening with his grandparents. When he grows up, he wants to be a drummer or a turkey and chicken farmer. Next, we have Miss Piper, who is in 2nd grade in Miss Eckerd's class. She is artistic and a crafter who loves making new things out of anything she can find. She also plays softball, soccer, and basketball. When she's at home, she loves on her pet bunny Patches. And finally, we have 5th grader Kinsey in Miss Penny's class. Kinsey loves to read, especially graphic novels. She has been dancing since she was 4, and her favorite style is lyrical. She enjoys building things, drawing, and making jewelry. Guys, lead us off. You might lead us in the pledge.
I take the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We have some plaques. We'll turn around. We have some other trees for you in just a moment. We're gonna take a picture.
Don't look at your mama. It's going on Facebook.
Thank you, guys. Here are your prizes. Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, guys.
You don't have to leave. You can. It's not pictures.
Item B is Tiger's Roar. We have several groups to honor this evening. And before we go on, as I look out in the audience, I realize about 1/3 of the audience is comprised of former students. It makes me feel proud.
So we'll begin with robotics tonight, and we have asked Kim Tinsley and other robotics instructors and kids to come tell us all the good things they have been doing in robotics this year at Telephone.
We just brought a portion because we have 65 members, I think it is, in robotics this year. So just to give you kind of a little rundown, we have teams at every school. We have 2 teams at Greenwood, 3 teams at Heritage, and 3 teams at Cherokee, 6 teams at the middle school, and then a team at the high school. So we are doing lots of growing this year. Throughout the season, we host numerous competitions, tournaments. We've hosted, 5 tournaments this past year. So, and to put on a tournament, it's a lot of work. I was talking to the middle school teams, are like, it's a lot of work. We have to get there early. We have to stay late. So it's a lot of work to host a tournament. So very thankful for all the people that help us host tournaments. Our just to give you a little rundown of how our teams did, our high school team has 6 freshmen. They are ranked number 6 in Oklahoma as far as their skills. They won several excellence and design awards. They participated a couple weeks ago in the World Championship where they made it to the semifinals in their division. Middle school, we have won, let's see, teamwork, excellence, skills, design, sportsmanship, judges, and innovate. We had 4 teams compete at the state championship. 2 of those teams went on to compete at the World Championship, where Robots ended 41st in their division, and then Waffle Turtles ended 56th in their division. Both of the high school teams and both of the teams that I just said competed at a national level at the Southwest Native American Showcase in Arizona back in November. Our heritage team, the Cogs, also they're ranked first in Oklahoma in skills. Heritage has won 6 trophies this year. They had 3 teams participate at the Oklahoma State Championship, and then Cogs moved on to the World Championship, where they ranked 66th in their division. Cherokee teams, they have 3 teams, Pokebots, Tigerbots, and Space Jupiter. Those teams won a total of 4 awards this year and competed at the state championship, the Oklahoma State Championship. And then our Greenwood teams, they have 2 this year. They won 1 award, the Judges Award, and one of their teams moved on to the state championship as well. So for a total, we won 38 awards this entire year. We had 4 teams compete at the world level, so pretty proud of them.
Have them introduce themselves.
Oh, yes, go ahead. Tell your team and your name. Oliver, start right here, we'll go in the end.
My name is Oliver Chandler.
He's on Waffle Turtles.
Yeah, I'm on Waffle Turtles.
I'm Isaac McGavick, and I'm also on Waffle Turtles.
I'm Amy Baker, and I'm also.
I'm Connor McMillan, and I'm on Waffle Turtles as well.
I'm Marshall LeBlanc, and I'm on Robots.
I'm Malik Ellison, and I'm also on Robots.
I'm Lucas Limore, and I'm on the Cogs. I'm Diz Torres, and I'm also on the Cogs.
Nice job. You trying to get away.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for coming.
Proud of you guys.
Yes, thank you all.
Now I'd like to invite our high school soccer coaches, Coach Hall and Coach McKee, to come up and tell us about their excellence in soccer.
What's up, everybody? Well, I'm not much of a talker, okay? It's only, I like telling stories, so if you don't mind, I'll share something. I'm sorry, but I gotta tell this. So, today, 10 years ago, I was in the hospital bed at St. Francis, had brain surgery. And nobody on this planet, I'm always in a good mood. I've been in a good mood since 10 years ago, every day. So nobody on this planet can't come and tell me that I'm not the luckiest dude alive. Not just because I work with Ed Soares. But I remember quite vividly after my 3rd surgery, I was at St. John's. And Miss Presley, I love her. She came in my hospital room, and she had that gum, but she had it turned the wrong way. You know, it's supposed to be back here. Luckily, she had it closed up. So that day, when everything was finally over after my however many surgeries, and I saw Miss Presley, I said to her, "You're here because of me."
Oh.
And I go, she said, "Yeah, Greg." And I knew it was gonna be okay. Because the community, Coach McClure, Miss McClure, everybody who came to visit me at the hospital. It's not about me today, I promise. But the universe just lined it up where today's the day, 10 years ago. No, with that said, I'd like to introduce Jacob and Grace. Come on. Just let me talk for a little bit. So, how the process worked, these guys were selected as all-state soccer players, not by their coaches, but by all the other coaches in our district. And if I were to choose anybody, honestly, Grace, you would have been the one. Not to mention Jacob. Jacob, I've had Jacob since 7th grade. And hey, apart from being in the district forever, I've got the best job in the district because I go to every school, every single school. Not every day, but during the week. And I see all these kids. I've had JJ since junior high. And he didn't know this, but just by his work ethic at the time, when he was in 8th grade, I was like, that's the dude. I used to go in the turf room and I would say, JJ, get the cones, tell the boys, and he just had it. He didn't talk a lot. This is my guy. Yeah? So he ended up, I selected him as our captain. And then our coaches in our district selected JJ as our all-state soccer player for this year. Our game will be in Fort Gibson, the Fake Tigers. And,
This is what's for Zach.
all right, we'll take Jack. Okay, but everybody else we will.
Okay.
So this is going to be June 7th, and it's going to be in Fort Gibson. If you like real football, you can come and watch perform one more time. Okay. As far as our season went, we had the best. We were playing on our turf field for the first time. Usually we would go to NSU. Love NSU, Riverhawk, Redmond 2 times over. But it was so awesome. Thank you guys for everybody, the community who made it happen for us, being able to play our games at our new turf field. Yeah. We had a really good season. We didn't make the postseason, but sometimes I don't measure success just by the scoreboard. We have so many kids who are moving on. We have Makai, who isn't here, who's going to the next level to play. But what's even cooler are the kids that are going to college, to the VOTEC, and all the other stuff, to do meaningful stuff for our community. Yeah, I can go on and on, but I really don't like to talk. So, again, I'm sorry, Coach McKee, if I took the stage, but I'd like to welcome Grace McKee and Jacob.
I love following Coach Hall. Grace is my daughter, so I've been coaching her for 12 years since she was 6. I got her to play soccer by buying her some pink shin guards. I was coaching her older brother. So I've coached her, I think, every year for 12 years in one form or another, either rec or in the high school. She's been a blast. You know, it's kind of tough coaching your daughter because she's super competitive. She was our captain this year. She's a 4-year starter. She's everything we needed her to be. She was at the next level. She's going to cheer at TU. So I still get to see her, compete a little bit. I get free tickets. So, but it's been a wonderful experience. If you can volunteer to coach other kids, coach your kids, it's a wonderful experience. I wouldn't give it up at all. continue, to look forward to other kids that I get to coach. So, thank you.
Dr. do better than the elementary kids, I don't think they can. Frank, can you get away from
What's up, man? How are you?
Okay. We are hearing and speech month, so the ladies from our speech department. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for having us tonight. My name is Emily Reese, I'm the speech pathologist at Greenwood, and I'm gonna have the rest of the team introduce themselves. I'm Danny Haggard, and I'm at Cherokee at Greenwood.
I'm Taylor Perry, and I'm the speech path at Sequoia Pre-K.
And my name is Hannah Hayworth, and I travel between Greenwood and Heritage.
My name is Stephanie Ford, and I'm at Tahlequah High School.
I'm Trina Mallory, and I'm at Heritage, and this is Luca Jack, a future Tiger. We also have Robin Rowland at Cherokee and Kaylee Deaton at the middle school who had other obligations tonight. But we try to make it out to the board meeting in May because May is National Speech Language and Hearing Month. And so part of that is spreading awareness for what we do in school and also celebrating our students' successes. So communication is, like, our job at the school is to diagnose and treat communication disorders and delays. And communication is the way that we connect and interact with our world. So I feel like that's one of the most important skills we can teach our students. So I think everyone is well aware that we work on how to pronounce sounds, but we do so much more than that. So we put together a little graph to show you. We also address language skills, literacy, social communication, eating and swallowing, cognitive communication, voice, stuttering, alternative and augmentative communication, and phonological skills. Anything that has to, that impedes a student's functional communication is an area that we can work on. So we didn't want to take too much of your time, but we did want to at least celebrate some of the successes that we have. So on this next slide, there we go. Okay. So this first student, this is Nova, and she is a first grader at Greenwood, and she is mostly nonverbal. So this year we were able to trial devices, evaluate her, and write a diagnostic report and find funding for her to get this communication device so that she can use it to communicate. So I have 2 short videos for you of her using the device. So this first activity that she's going to do, she's able to demonstrate her understanding of colors, letters, numbers, food naming, animal naming, and then we're going to find them on her device. So we're just going to show you a really short clip of her, this first one, Robert.
Excellent job. Let's get the black one.
Okay, well, that was
Yum, Teddy
Oh,
Graham.
that's the whole thing, so we shortened the video. But basically, she's using her device to pick which cup she wants. And so she's doing that in complete sentences. She just got this device in January. And so she's able to do that now. So I hope this next one plays. We shortened it because a skill that we've seen her develop is humor. So on this next little clip, she purposely picks an option that's not available to see what my reaction will be. So I hope it plays.
Okay, let's clear it.
Okay, well, we shortened it so you didn't have to see all of this part, but.
I want. Great. Which one do you want, Nova?
Watch your face. That's my favorite.
R. I want R. R? Which one's the R? It's not on there. You're silly.
Okay.
No R.
So she's
Let's clear. The purple.
she's definitely a
Okay, tell me I want it
success story.
again.
You can turn it off.
Nice job,
Thank you, Robert, for doing that. So we have one more student, if you don't mind going to the next slide, and I'm gonna let Stephanie introduce her.
So when we were asked to share a success story with you all, I thought, what am I gonna do? And I turned around and there she stood in the library. I had the privilege of working with Miss Gracie when she was in the 2nd grade. And if anybody knows her today, you know all of the accomplishments that she has succeeded in this year. But I wanted Gracie to be here to tell you her story. And she's here, Miss Gracie Brewer.
Hello, so I've recently decided that I would like to be a speech language pathologist also. And one of the main things, reasons why I decided to do this is because of Miss Ford. Whenever people don't know, I had trouble pronouncing certain words, but people don't know that it's much more than the way that you communicate. It's the confidence that you lack. My self-esteem was very low. I had kids picking on me in the 2nd grade, but that really took a hit at my confidence. And not only did Miss Ford make me feel seen and loved, but I just remember going into that class and I enjoyed every second of it. And now I can pronounce things perfectly now. And I would love to help a kid one day the way that Miss Ford helps me. And that just makes me so excited for the future and how I'm going to help others.
Thank you so much for letting us take some time to share with you.
We appreciate what you're doing very You just gave
Thank you.
You guys are.
I know.
All right.
Come up here, Miss Ford.
Oh.
Gracie.
Yes, please. This is like where you're gonna be in the future, so it's a good fit.
Right, you go. Hey.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Gracie. Thank you. I love the shirt.
Thank you for having us.
Do we have it?
No.
She looked good, didn't she?
Item D, discussion and vote to approve the minutes for the previous meeting. This was a special meeting on May 2nd. Motion to approve. Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Ms. Lima, aye. Dr. Eversole.
But abstain.
Dr. Kaufman.
Aye.
Ms. Crawford. Aye. And I. E, Deputy Treasurer to report. And I'll read through whether we're going to approve or not approve. after your report, go ahead.
Alright, so we're gonna start with the bank balance at the end of April was $24,874,210.20. Our receipts for the general fund as the end of April, $3,911,451.01. In the building fund, we had $223,983.40. In sinking fund, we had $259,745.13. That brings our general fund balance to $10,213,868.78. Building fund is $3,960,523.93. Bond fund is $7,890,500. Sinking fund is $2,858,565.90. Just so you know, those bond funds and those sinking funds, that balance that's in those accounts right now, those will go to pay our payments. So you'll notice in any months that those balances will be down much, much lower.
And the bond and the sinking funds will be down.
Yes, because the money that's put in there, that is strictly to pay the bonds and the sinking fund payments. So I know the sinking fund payment will be paid after tonight's board meeting. The bond fund payment is not due until September. So one of those will be much lower at the next meeting, and then the other one will be lower in a few months. Activity account at the end of April, $1,211,949.20. On to the utilities, the electric from last April to this April was about $10,000 less. The water was about $571 more from last year to this year, and the gas was $662 less from last year to this year. You guys have any questions?
Now, what is our carryover balance again?
So as of right now, we're sitting at about $5 million. That will fluctuate though between now and the end of June 30th, because what happens is we continue to pay bills, we continue to have money come in, but when we claim that money, we are waiting for the state to refund us on that, so sometimes those refunds don't come until July. So you'll see in June 30th, there'll be an amount, but really typically July is what the real carryover typically looks like.
And we have CDs that are supposed to mature.
So the CDs that we have for, are you talking about the activity account CDs? Some of them will mature in the summer. And then what happens is we just kind of look around and we try to figure out who has the best rate at that time. And then we can always move them around and stuff like that.
So once again, the after report, after the treasurer report and discussion to approve the monthly financial report. So I have a motion. I'll make a motion. Second. Any discussion? Vote, Ms. Nemo.
Aye.
Dr. Eversole.
Aye.
Dr. Coffin. Aye. Ms. Crawford. Aye. And aye. Item F, Principal Director Report, Child Nutrition, and Lacey Wilson, Alicia Ward.
It's actually Heidi and I tonight.
Oh.
So
I'm just reading
I
from
know,
this, I'm
I
sorry.
just didn't want to be, I wanted everyone to know that Heidi Kruger is actually going to talk about child nutrition tonight. Of course, I'll help with anything as well, but she is the Assistant Child Nutrition Director and she's doing an amazing job. So I want to give her a shout out and hope you guys noticed it.
And I actually know who you are, I just didn't look.
Oh, no, yeah, it said different names because what happened was that was at one point what was gonna happen. We didn't know if she was gonna be able to be here or not, so here we are.
Happy to have you.
Okay, so we're just gonna talk about some of the things we talked about previously, the last time that we were here about 3 months ago. we've got a couple slides for you. Currently, these are kind of the numbers as of the end of April. Meals that we've served, this does not include supper. If you include supper and the contract meals, we're well over 500,000 meals served to the students for Tahlequah this year. That's quite an accomplishment, although we would like it to be a little bit higher, so hopefully next year it will be. So right now, our RFP is out, so our contract ends with Sodexo on June 30th. So we've sent out our contract we bid on. We've had a couple of bites from some of the companies, SFE, Chartwells, Taylor, and Sodexo. So our bid opening will be on June 6th at 12:30 at the board. Once we open those up, we'll pick the top two on a grading scale, and then we'll negotiate with them to try and get the best price for the school. Maybe one day we'll be able to go back to self-op, but financially, it's just not something that's viable right now. In the past, it's always been something that's caused us to run in the red. It's very expensive to run a self-operating program. Maybe one day, but not right now. So some of the things that we're looking for, important to us, is gonna be, of course, play cost. That's what dictates how much we're gonna be paying them. Their service capability plan, how well they're able to meet our needs. Personnel management, how do they train their staff? Do they have a good record of maintaining staff? Customizing menus that work for our students, that kind of seems to have been an issue in the past. Getting more options, not just the same nachos or pizza as their kids are going through the line. And just trying to get some more involvement with the community staff and seeing what it is that everybody's kind of wanting and applying that into everything. We just want somebody that's really flexible at a decent price. We just want it all for a nice price. So right now we're trying to get ready for the summer feeding program. We're gonna continue like we did last year. So of course at Cherokee, Sequoia, middle school, and then we're also doing non-congregate feeding where we'll go out to Garden Walk on Wednesdays and hand out a week's worth of meals, 5 breakfasts, 5 lunches. The time on there says 12:30 to 1:30, that's my bad. It's actually 11:30 to 12:30. We've sent home letters with all of the students, in English and in Spanish, the elementary students and the pre-Kers, just kind of trying to let them know that we'll be handing out meals. We're hoping to reach as many students as we can in the community because we are in such a community that has, just really needs it. And it's for anybody that's 18 years and under or that has special needs. So.
Question on that real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're handing out and then the ones at the school, anyone can come or is that only for summer students?
During the summer school, we're feeding the summer school kids and then it's open for the kids to come in. They can go to any site that we're serving meals. We try and push them to Cherokee. And then we have an allotted time, usually at the end, the last 30 minutes of service time is what we're promoting. That way we can get the summer school kids through and then bring the community in, because we have to have somebody to let them in for safety reasons. So it's easier to, kind of watch the doors for 30 minutes versus an hour. So we're trying to promote it as much as we can, spread the word by all means. The more students that we get to participate, the more likely we are to continue it in the future. So,
So those are meals that they come and sit down.
if they come to the site, it's a hot meal. So they come through and they get a full breakfast or a full lunch, and they do have to consume it on site. They cannot take it from the site. If they come to one of the sites at Garden Walk or Fox on Wednesdays, we will give them an entire, couple of bags that will have 5 breakfasts and 5 lunches that are cold packed. And it has instructions on eating, it has a menu, it's got all the safety precautions and everything for, you need to store this in the refrigerator at this temperature, you need to cook this. We try to make it as easy as possible at microwave, so a kid, if need be, can do it themselves. So, we usually serve out about 150 a week. So, I mean, it works out pretty good for the community. Garden Walk really, and Fox, both, they really appreciate it.
People show up.
Yes, they come and they pick it up.
Milk and, we did it during COVID.
Fruits,
when we
vegetables,
posted that, and it was-
all kinds of stuff, cereals.
And the kid does not have to be present.
No, we
If
just need a
the
name.
parent needs to pick it up for them, because I know in the past we've had different rules. It depends on what you're running under, which program. And this particular program in the summer, if they come to Fox and Garden Walk, the kiddo does not have to be with them. But we do have to, they would have to give a name. It would have to be 18 or under, I guess, to get it, so.
What you said was Fox and Garden Walk, you service about 150 students out there?
Correct.
Just in those two?
Yes.
Okay.
How many hot meals do y'all serve? I mean,
We don't have a whole lot of people show up from
Just
the
the-
community,
just
just because
the-
they have to come at breakfast time, get a breakfast, I mean.
just the summer school kids.
So there's a couple of kids that usually come and participate, usually somebody that usually lives in the area or the neighborhood, and the kids themselves will generally just walk over there.
I would say 10 a day at the most, probably last summer.
There's just not a lot that show up.
But they're welcome.
Yeah.
Definitely welcome.
So we put up some signage and stuff and spread, little flyers out. We're also looking into CEP for next year, where the community, where all the students would eat for free. So we applied with the state. So this is what our numbers look like right now. This is with the 1.6% multiplier. So as a district as a whole, we're looking at about 87%. We won't get the final report back from the state until mid-June, is what she said. Just because she's with so many districts applying for CEP because of this multiplier that they've added and they've lowered the eligibility level. It'll be great for the community. It's one of those things where we're just gonna have to jump and we're gonna have to see what happens. We have a little cushion. This is the time to do it. And just see how it happens. Basically what it means is 87% of the students, we have 100 kids eat, the state will reimburse us 87 of those meals at the full price, and then that additional 13% or 13 meals would be paid at the full price, which is like 38 cents per meal, which is not a lot. But the reimbursement for for free meals is about 4. So, I mean, it's quite a big difference. But when we crunch the numbers into their little calculator, it shows us in the green. It's actually making more. The only problem is that calculator is taken to student payments. That's something that we receive monthly. We receive about $20,000 to $30,000 in student payments a month that goes and gets cycled through. We will no longer receive that. The only thing that we will receive is money for a la carte items. So students would have to have money in their accounts to go to the Tiger's Den and to buy second meals, slushies, extras, and usually we sell about $10,000 to $14,000 in a la carte. So it's a little risk for the district, but I think that it's definitely gonna be worth it. It's not something that's concrete and we have to do it forever. This is gonna be kind of a trial period to see if we can actually pull it off. I know that that's what is best for the students, the community, and everybody, and I know that's what they want. We want all of the students to be able to eat for free. So this is our time to jump and to try it. So we're doing everything.
Do it, I know we can stop at any time, but is it approved for a certain period of time, or do you gotta apply every year?
It's approved for it's almost like the RFP, it's approved for a 5-year, we get to keep those numbers for 5 years. We just have to every year, say, yes, we want to continue the program. In 5 years, we'd have to redo numbers and all of that. However, if we chose after this next year, 2004, 2025, if it's not working out for us as a district and we are just losing way too much money, and we would need, if we do this, we need to let the community know this is kind of a trial period. If we can't afford it as a district, I mean, we've got to feed the kids no matter what. But I'd like to get them for free as much as possible, so we have that little cushion to cover us.
For 87% free,
They would reimburse us
reimburse for 87%.
87% of the free rate,
And then we would really be responsible for that other 13%.
in a sense. Now, what does make the numbers change is participation. Over the last 5 years, and it's in here, we have, I took 2019, April 2019, that was right before we went with the food service management company. One of the reasons we went with the food service management company was for options. We thought the children wanted more options. that we would increase participation. So on your left, we have 2019 numbers. This is each school and what they were serving for breakfast, their average daily participation, and then their lunch. Then we go on to 2024 April. The same sites, the same participation, and we went from a 32% participation across the district down to 22 for breakfast. We lost 10%. And that's a lot. If we can regain that 10%, that's gonna make it. That's gonna help us. So we've got to do what the kids want. We've gotta give them what they want.
You know what the price change was, but even close in that time period, like for the meals? Do you have
For
any
the
idea?
price that we paid for the contract.
What student pay was, what student pay?
That's a good question, because we
The
could
price
pull
change
that
has
up.
not been that much. I will find out and send out an email on
Been
that.
very negligible.
Yeah, our prices don't raise very often.
I would think that free meal, that there are probably some lunch bringers that would, a big part of them would go to if it was free, because with 3 for me, I could probably send lunches cheaper than I could feed them breakfast and lunch at school. It's $5 a day when it's not reduced, so with 3 kids, that's $75 a week. And when you're not paying that, and if you don't have to buy the lunch, those folks are right there, I mean, that's a money saver. But if you have to pay full price, you're not saving any money by them eating at school versus taking their lunch, and I think we will see that.
I hope so. I really do. And I think the more that we figure out what it is the students want and give them that, as long as we're keeping with guidelines and regulations, there are ways. We used to have a pretty good program, and the kids did like the food more. It seemed like with the food service management company. It's so commercialized. It's the same thing when you go to the high school. You get nachos every day. Great, they got nachos, they got pizza, it's the same thing every day though. You either get a burger, nachos, let's throw some other things in there, besides the same thing. I think we have higher participation. It's great to have those things, but we need some home cooked things. This is Cherokee County. We need some food that's familiar, that the kids used to eat. A lot of those were USDA recipes, that the kids like. Stew. Our kids know what stew is. That's a Cherokee County staple, but we haven't served stew to them in 5 years. It's just something to look at, and it's something that we're paying attention to whenever we're gonna make this deal with this RFP. We're trying everything we can to make the best deal with the RFP, the best price.
That used to be one of my favorites in school.
So we're trying to go step back just a little bit, pay attention to what the kids want, so we can hopefully jump participation up. That's the only way CEP is gonna survive. The more kids that eat, the better the reimbursement is gonna be, and the better the program's gonna run, and we'll be able to do it year in and year out. So.
I have a question about, are you just gonna feed till the end of summer school, and then it all stops till school starts, right? Okay.
After July 21st, we do not serve meals. There's not. June, sorry.
June.
After July 21st, we do not have any programs that run in July.
CEP, we have never qualified until now, and so we definitely feel like it's worth it. When she says we have a cushion, Child Nutrition Fund, even though we run it through our general fund, is a very separate fund. They can only be used for one purpose, and we have a very healthy carryover in the Child Nutrition Fund right now. So if we try this for a year and we realize we cannot afford it, we have the cushion to pay the difference. But we could not sustain that year after year if it was $100,000 hit to general fund. So that's what we will have to try.
Participation is key.
And we feel like we can do that. We have some ideas of pre-K, taking them to eat as a class for breakfast every year. Even kindergarten, having all the kindergartners each get a breakfast every day. Food carts in the hallway at the middle school, whereas they walk into the door to the high school, they grab something and they go. We think that they will eat, and if they eat, then we can afford it. So that's what we will need from our community, is them to encourage their children to actually participate in the breakfast and lunch program, and then it will be affordable for everyone.
As long as all of the people that are bidding give us a fair price. I have a price in my mind, and when I open those,
you're gonna be shocked.
I'm gonna negotiate, because like for real, this is all based on a formula. And it's like, we'll get it, the misconception is that CEP is free, and it's not free. It's that we qualify, it's that we have enough students that are directly certified to allow us to apply for the program. So then when you apply, it's all based on a formula, and we actually only have about 53% that are truly direct certified. Well, that number is the number that you multiply by 1.6, and then that's the number that the state is gonna reimburse you for at that rate, which our rate right now in the formula is like 3.74, $3.74. So if the food if when we open those bids, and the bids are $4.70, but the state's only gonna reimburse us $3.74, then we're not gonna be able to afford it. So I just don't want everyone to think that going CEP is free. It's not free, and the math has to work out, and so the food service companies have to understand that we have to be able to afford it, and we wanna try, and we do have a cushion right now, but it's like, we've gotta get our breakfast numbers up, and we have to get all these numbers up in order for us to maintain. So I think what's gonna happen is the state's gonna come back and tell us if we qualify, which we feel like we qualify because we've done the legwork, but they have to officially tell us that we qualify, and they'll tell us at the end of June. And that's after we open our bids, so we'll kind of know a little bit. And then, if it works, I feel like we're gonna have to have a big campaign to the community. We're gonna do this on a trial basis, because I don't wanna promise everyone, because then the community will feel like we're not doing what we're supposed to do with integrity. So I feel like if we do it, then we're gonna have to have this campaign of, it's a year trial, and we're gonna have to be really transparent with our numbers.
And at that point though, we'll know, once we know what the cost is, and if we get it, we know how many kids we need to eat every day to be able to maintain that.
Yeah.
We can Chuck back on the team and he can tell us.
Exactly, I'm like,
The community has to participate.
I want it to work out, we want it so badly to work out, so.
But the community has to participate.
Yes,
It's
absolutely,
gonna get
it's
kids
dependent upon the community participating.
willing to eat. But we've gotta have food that they
The
want
kids
to
want to eat,
eat.
exactly,
So
it's a cycle.
it's a cycle.
Yeah.
If we get kids there in time to eat breakfast, and they're gonna be to class on
Yes.
time, because you have to be there by 7:45 to eat breakfast.
Yeah.
So, of course, we have allowed charges this year because we're not refusing anybody anything, we're not taking food away from anybody, with that comes, debt.
That is
This is what it was on the day that I did this. It's actually at $9,500 right now. We've got phone calls going out, texts, emails, asking parents to pay, but it's gonna be $8,000 to $9,000 that's gonna be taken out of the Jim Wilson account to pay for all this.
How much is in that?
17,000.
I just knew you were gonna ask.
One of the main problems with the, not taking food away, and we're really trying to work hard on it, is our students are smart. They know that we're not gonna take the food away, so they grab a couple, the problem's at the high school. And they'll take a couple of pieces of pizza, they go up to the cashier, they have no money in their account, so they get their free meal, but then they have to charge them, because the company wants paid for that other meal, so they ding it up. It works out great for the company, it works out great for the student, it doesn't work out so great for us. Because at the end, we end up having to pay for that, we've got to find a way to stop that from happening, and I just don't know what the answer is, aside from taking away any self-serve options at the high school, where everything has to be served to them. That's the only thing, we just have to be smarter.
And this is a large number, but it's actually smaller than
Well,
what
it's not, large as I would think, we've had
Because we
larger
get text
numbers.
messages now when we owe money.
I love the text. I love it.
Okay.
Most people don't.
I paid last week, guys.
We answer phone calls all the time because parents are upset about being harassed, and it's not about
I love
harassing, it's about survival of the program and utilizing Jim Wilson funds and what it was made for.
I still think we've taken a good step, but now you get it when you're overdue. And if I would get one when I only had $10 $10 left on there, knowing
If you can only customize it, that would be
to up
great.
it, yeah.
That's what, we have talked about that before.
But it is, because once you get it, it's already, it's the first one, I think you get the first text message, the first one, and you're $2 under, but, if there was a way, or saying it again, if we could auto renew like your pay pass, where you could send them out, that when your account gets to $5, it will automatically draft whatever you set, and I know that that's.
Well, hopefully we go CEP
I
and
know
not have to
that's
worry
like
about that anymore.
Yeah,
That'd be
right.
great.
Willing for that.
We did change the texting and calling and emailing about a week ago, and like, we're not trying to annoy anyone, but we had it set at $5, everyone got an email and a text, and then at $10 they got a call. And so just for the last week and a half, we're texting, calling, and emailing if they owe anything. So if you guys get, that's why, but we're just trying to about 7 or 8 days of, annoying.
I think it's important to point out on this, I mean, that for 3,600 kids, only $10,000 worth of debt is pretty good. There are just a handful of kids on this list that owe a large amount. Most of these are $5 or 60 cents. They're people that just don't realize
This is averaged over about
that
400
I-
students.
Oh, I owe a little bit, and I owe $2. So it's not like any, there are very few students that have a large amount. Most of them, we can look through there and we'll know, we're like, oh, they must not realize they owe, or sorry, I don't think my sister was on there, but it'd be like my sister, like, hey, Cammy owes $5, don't forget to pay that. It's kids, it's things like that. It's not exorbitant debt. It's just little tiny bits that just add up.
So next is our goals for 24-25. Increase participation by 10% for breakfast and lunch at all sites. That's just, the breakdown is that's what we need to do. So any ideas, suggestions, comments, participation, all appreciated. Looking at getting free meals for CEP for the community. That's a big step, something I don't think Taco's ever done. So that is a big deal.
It is big, and we've been talking about this for years.
This is the first time we've ever actually been able to qualify. That's the biggie. This is the first time we've been able to qualify. So we're really trying to get it done and then change our charge policy for a la carte items. We've got to come up with a solution to prevent debt from building on that, just extra fees. So.
What does CEP stand for?
Community Eligibility Program. Any questions?
We interrupted you the whole time you're talking.
That's all right.
Thank you guys.
Thanks. Thank you guys.
These two have been learning all about these learning. They're doing SFSP and CEPs and RFPs and so many little letters that I know their heads are spinning right now. So many things in that world were due in the last few weeks that I don't know that they have slept without dreaming about all the acronyms. So thank you, Lacey, and thank you, Heidi.
What's Heidi's last name, Lacey?
Krueger.
Say it again.
K-R-U-E-G-E-R. Yes.
K-R-U. What's your title?
Assistant Child Teaching Director.
We don't have anybody.
I'm supposed to call her afterwards. There was a reason she couldn't be the paper.
She's leaving.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'm gonna write about this.
What did she say? Item G, ready to move on. All right,
Attendance report.
this evening, we have 517 employees, 3,565 students, and I am rather certain that 4,100 people are ready to go home on that list. Our enrollment numbers have stayed pretty steady at all of the sites this last quarter. We are at capacity at this time. We will set the new capacity of the June board meeting that we will begin with for July 1st. And that of course will be updated on our website daily. Some things going on in our bond projects, the Greenwood Classroom Edition. The mechanical and electrical plumbing is about 95% complete. The brick veneer on the outside, 80% complete. The roof shed installation begin on 5/27, so I think we're back on schedule to hopefully be ready for August. They will begin some partial sheetrock this week and as long as the weather stays nice for multiple reasons this week. So that project is moving right along. The old library bathroom, the Cherokee Old Library that's new bathrooms, they're about complete. They're really pretty. Like it's, you need to stop by and see all these projects. And if you want me to walk you through sometime, let me know. Ceiling tiles, 80% complete, ceramic tiles, 80% complete. They're gonna begin on the flooring in that area. The Cherokee addition, metal wall panels are at the top of the brick block now on the outside. Ceiling tile again on there, flooring to begin, but they're already to where they have the millwork done in the room. So you can go through there and you see exactly what it's gonna look like, and it's gonna be a beautiful addition to that campus. Really turn that building to the new side. Other projects, we have a high school restroom addition, that has not begun yet, but should happen over the summer. We'll be remodeling an old bathroom that's not been a bathroom for many years now into a single occupancy restroom, and did some renovations in the bathrooms in the library. And then we're just working on lists of other projects to do. We're getting through the large projects, and then we're making sure that we're hitting the letter of the law, what our public voted for, make sure we're doing all of those things. We'll be doing an electrical panel at Greenwood, we'll be doing some painting on the outside of Greenwood. Canopies fixed, we'll have some signage there. Of course, we have all our projects that we've had at the high school. I say, the athletic facility and the turf field, things like that. We're gonna be able to do a little bit of remodeling in the front office area of the middle school, something they talked about doing years ago, where they have the double door entry, but right now, you still have to go into the second door to be able to go to an office. Gonna remodel that where you actually will have the office in between those spaces, so that will be a good safety thing that we're doing there. Fixing the steps on the TMAC, which are pulling apart a little bit on the front of the TMAC, so that's a big ticket item that we're doing. So we've had a list, and they all have lists, we have lists, and we're trying to touch a little bit of everything all around the district. And then they're all creating lists for what we'll start on the next bond project that we'll do in a couple of years, because right now we're doing both of those, we're finishing one and starting one. So exciting times with all of that. We had staff appreciation last week, May 6th through the 10th, and goodness gracious, our community, to see what they were able to do in their buildings every day, and just the love that is shown to our school district from everyone in this town and outside of this town is absolutely amazing. We absolutely live in the best community, and just wanna say thank you for all I saw, and all that even happened to like our people outside of the school. I mean, people do things for all of the employees at TPS, and that is so nice to see. We had our May 9th honor grad luncheon that was put on by the Tahlequah Area Chamber of Commerce last week. It was awesome. Those kids are amazing. They, along with the local business partners, honored top 5% of our graduating class. It's 21 THS students with a GPA from 4.42 to 4.78. We're just very proud of them. I know I said that and I'm like, how's that even mathematically possible? But it was a great event, and we're super excited and thankful for the chamber for doing what they do for us. Such a wonderful partner. We have the Accent on Excellence on Thursday morning at 8 at our Performing Arts Center if you are able to attend. And that's when we will do awards for our staff for the year. And then we have graduation Friday night at 7 o'clock at the NSU Stadium, because it is not going to rain. We're speaking that into existence. We have 306 graduates. We are planning for a perfect ceremony at NSU and a perfect ceremony in the TMAC if we have to. We will make that call by noon on Friday if weather does come into play. If we had to have it inside, each senior got 5 tickets. Because as I said, we have 306 graduates. That's more than we normally have, so it limits the number of people that can go in. We'll be live streamed on YouTube if people cannot attend. I also gave you some information about the summer PD series that Lacey and everyone has been working on. We've got more than 20 different sessions to choose from, and we have been able to open it up to all of the schools in the county. So we've invited anyone else that wants to come to attend the PD for free. So just trying to do things. I mean, this is a community. We all work together. So we were super excited to offer that to them. and that's our board.
I think we ought to do a bus tour with Brad driving around to each school and show people what, offer it like 2 or 3 times and then show them what we wanna do. If we show them everything we've done, but hey, this is what we wanna do,
That would be a really good idea.
yeah.
I was thinking as we started this meeting tonight, sure will be nice when we can have a board meeting in the old central auditorium. And we can fit as many people as we would need to.
Maybe Mr. Valdez can make a video if we can't do the bus thing, but he's really good at that. We've got a new class.
Take him on a virtual tour. Yes.
Does he have a master's?
No.
I hired somebody. He'll be here July 1st. Knock on wood, I hope.
They're looking for hires.
Yeah, I've looked for hire for 3 years. That would be good, a video. But I think if people saw, because everybody who's been here the last 2 or 3 months has talked about that turf. And I think there's probably community people who haven't seen it. But if they see all that and then they see what we wanna do, look at all they did. We wanna be sure and let them keep going.
We'll do that. As she mentioned, we're gonna work with Mr. Valdez next year, and we really want to do some branding for Tahlequah. So when we do teacher spotlights, we want them to all look the same. If we have students signing, we want it to have the same look, so this is a Tahlequah athlete and look what they've accomplished. Or this is a Tahlequah FFA student and look what they've accomplished. These are the projects that we've done. So doing a video tour of what we have done, what we want to do, where it's all branded, I think is gonna be very important
He
for us.
could ask for a media studies intern.
Okay. That'd be great. He's wonderful.
Yeah, he is. We had a master's, behind in a field that relates to what we teach, but it's all right. I have a high. Hey, I've tried to hire for 3 years. You guys don't know what's out there. I know you do. Why do you? Wow.
We know.
I feel your pain.
We've got a new stadium seating with our turf. Where I almost have to have, it would be nice to have a crane to get me up into that wall. It's dangerous.
That is
Trying
something,
to get,
we're making large lists and
My
then we
kids
will
are like, sit
involve
down
you
there,
all
Mom.
in that. We've got information, they're all working from a building standpoint of, okay, what would they want their building to look like in 5 years, 10 years? They're making lists, wish lists and love lists and I need lists. And we're gonna begin with that, gather it all as a staff, put a committee together from our town with you all, with them. What do we wanna do on this next bond? We ought to be able to bond for a lot larger amount than we were this time. So we're doing all the legwork to get ready for that right now. Fall of 2026 is when we should be able to, and where we would want to do that. We would be able to keep our millage the same, it would not be a tax increase. And if the numbers stay where we think they will be with McDonald's and Associates helping me, we ought to be able to bond for over 30 million.
Oh, that's awesome. That's something we need to put in there. The mills will stay the same.
Yes, no
People
tax
hear their
increase.
stuff's not going
No
up.
tax increase.
Yeah.
So,
Big billboard.
Tahlequah's good about voting on all this
they have
stuff.
been very supportive thus far, but we wanna put something together that we know that they will support. So. And that's all for today.
Any more discussion? All right, item H, discussion and vote to approve the following surplus from Greenwood. Motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Any discussion? Ms. Lena? Aye. Dr. Everett?
Aye.
Dr. Cox? Aye. Ms. Crawford? Aye. And aye. Item I, business items, consent docket vote to approve the following. This is 1 through 5. We have contracts for the 23-24 school year, contracts for 24-25 school year. What else? Trips, out-of-state, overnight trips, membership subscriptions, and facility usage agreements. Do I have a?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, second. Any discussion?
I just wanna point out that there are lots and lots of contracts this time because Brittany is the assistant extraordinaire and has lit a fire under all of us, and so we have them in a timely manner. And so we will have quite a few in June, but we are getting, I would guess, probably close to 50 done right here. Only big contract thing, obviously, we have the vote from the special board meeting. We are going to do a contract with OSSBA for evaluation services for me. That is something that is new. That's what our special board meeting was for. They did training for the board members to decide whether or not they want to do that. So tonight they would vote whether they wanted to accept that. That is a completely new contract.
2S.
Yes. Also, on the membership, we would have the membership for the evaluation piece. That would be a second line item on that. Are there any other questions about any of the contracts?
I wanted to mention something in our discussion about the new evaluation instrument. It's something that we have been discussing as a board for a number of years, actually. And the premise is that this new instrument will facilitate kind of an ongoing conversation between the board and the superintendent. And so we will be more knowledgeable about what we're voting on. And so with this ongoing discussion, in the evaluation, there are 9 domains, and they range all the way from board superintendent relationships to teaching and learning assessment, student services. We really hit high on that always, on all of these actually, I feel that we do. Community relation, district goals, and these are based on national standards for superintendents. And it's closer in language, academic language, to the evaluation instruments that we use for our teachers. And so there's sort of a companionship that goes with that. This is something that I've been talking to Court about for years, and I'm really appreciative that Tanya has been open to this, and I think it will be very beneficial for all of us.
So it is a lengthy process, so it will be broken up into pieces over the year. So most likely we'll have an executive session every second to third month to go over pieces of it, because there would be, well, it probably could be done all in one session, but that would kind of negate why we're changing to this. Or we'll take a couple of the domains and we'll do the evaluative piece of that in executive session. We'd come back here, there would be no vote. And then a couple of months later, we would do another 2 or 3 pieces of that until we get to January, when they would do the summative evaluation, and then we would come out and do the vote on the evaluation.
Anyway, I think it's going to be a really great thing for all of us. Any further discussion? Ms. Neiman. Aye. Dr. Eversole. Aye. Dr. Coffin. Aye. Ms. Crawford. And aye. J, discussion and vote to approve the schedule of encumbrances. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
We do have one large PO that we had a question on. I'm going to ask Robert to speak to this. It's AT&T hotspot bill. So I think it's a $35,000. So when we got the hotspots for COVID, we signed agreements with multiple companies. E-rate helped us with most of this. It's something that's coming to an end, and at the end of the agreement, they tack on $35,000 worth of fees that they say that E-rate does not cover and that we owe. He has been working for months to try and argue that fact, looking through all the fine print, going through all of the vendors, and we're not gonna get out of it. So AT&T is charging us $35,000 for something that pretty much seen as unforeseen. If we do not pay it, we'll be turned over to collections, and that will be a bigger headache for us than paying the $35,000. Anything you wanna add to what I just said?
I mean, I think you've kind of gotten it. I think what it is to explain further, the first couple years we had COVID money, we got all of our hotspots through them through T-Mobile, flat rate of $10 or $20 per hotspot. Last year, the 22-23 year, this new thing came out, ECF funding, where federal dollars could be applied for that. And so we applied for that. We had service with AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. And all of the vendors supply to us what they're going to charge us, and we hand it over to our E-rate consultant, and she files it, and then all of that money is reimbursed directly to the vendor. But what happened is with Verizon and T-Mobile, all of those costs were up front. But AT&T has, it's $15 a month, but then the asterisk underneath all of that says essentially, but we can charge you other fees and so forth. What I'm assuming has happened is those other ones roll those fees into that standard fee of $15, $20 a month, and AT&T does not. I've reached out to our E-rate consultant, and there is a possibility that we can file for a reimbursement and get that money reimbursed. But if not, then we will be responsible for paying for it.
Are there other schools in the state that have this problem?
Yeah, one thing that I thought about. We asked for a lot of hotspots. A lot of other districts did not quite have as many hotspots through ECF, and I'm not sure what kind of impact they would have.
So we'll pay it, and then we'll continue to have the argument, and we'll try to get the ECF reimbursement if possible. But I'm just thinking in my mind, I think some of the people that didn't have the hidden fees have commercials that say no hidden fees, and now we know who has hidden fees.
Yes.
So we would be hesitant to do business with them again.
Yeah.
Brian, I should clarify. Verizon had some additional fees too, but it was like $400 or $500, and so that was one of my main arguments. There was like, this was 1 year. I mean, this was just for 22-23 that we're talking about, and I mean, it's outrageous.
How much was the actual cost of the product?
So it was $96,000 for hotspots and $99,000, I believe, for iPads. So that was what was approved to be reimbursed. So this $35,000 is in addition to that.
Somebody's gonna get a big KK.
It's just unfortunate to me that we're in the public school business.
Yeah.
And that they would try to catch you is it's not good business. Thank you, Ralph.
That two works for you.
Okay, any further discussion? Ms. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Coffey?
Aye.
Mr. Crawford, and aye. Okay, motion and vote to approve personnel items. 1 through 8. 8. Whoever makes the motion will need to read the highlighted names on K2.
I move to approve item K 1 through 8 with the following, Dan Snyder, THS, JROTC, Army instructor pending Army approval, Sarah Fritz, TMS teacher pending certification, Aubrey Lambert, TMS PT para sub, Nicholas Davis, THS teacher.
I second.
Any discussion?
A lot that we supposed to hire, or do we know?
We have less than 5, I would say,
Well,
spots.
we have 3 positions left at a particular site, but other than that, and then 1 is out at Heritage, so maybe 4 left that we're getting. Yeah.
Right, any further discussion? Ms. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Conley?
Aye.
Ms. Crawford? Aye. And item L, new business, and we do have new business. We do have new business items. So, item LA, motion and vote to approve personnel items.
I'll make that motion.
Resignation and two employment.
So we have to read all of these since it's new business because they're not on the agenda.
I'll make a motion. Sarah Jordan, Social Services Specialist, resignation. Vicky Garvin, THSPT Parasab, resignation, and then employment. Janine Perry, Heritage PE teacher.
Second. Any discussion? Ms. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Coffin? Aye. Ms. Crawford and aye. Item B, motion to approve the following 2024-25 contracts. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve, did we read these?
That's what I would read.
Okay, I will, I'll do it. I make a motion to approve, B items 1, 2, and 3. B1, agreement with City of Tallahassee to provide school resource officers for the 24-25 fiscal year. B2, agreement with Initiative 1 for the delivery and completion of Initiative 1's leadership transformation and PVP team scan and workshop. B3, agreement with Oklahoma Department of Human Services to provide school-day specialists for the 24-25 fiscal year.
Did we have a second on
I'll second.
that? Any further discussion?
I just do want to say something about B3, that Department of Human Services. We have a school-based social worker with a partnership with the Department of Human Services. This is an additional. They have reached out to us. They are going to start paying 80% of Caitlin, our DHS worker's salary, 80% of this new position, and so we'll actually have less money out of general fund, and we'll have two that are affiliated with Department of Human Services. This new one will actually be a TPS employee, but we'll have all of the DHS training. So we'll have a DHS worker, a hybrid, and then we will have our own. And so we will have 3 basically social service specialists in the district.
I think we have a second on that. Stephanie? Ms. Nemo? Aye. Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Coffin?
Aye.
Ms. Crawford? And aye. And with that, we are adjourned.